Good afternoon, everyone. I was actually, I was actually watching all of us here since morning. We could possibly hold a national scrolling competition, right? A championship sorts, right? That's the kind of scrolling that's happening everywhere among all of us. And that's exactly what we want to talk about today, right? In terms of multi-screen, in terms of consumer attention, consumer, consumers today actually aren't short of content. They're actually short of attention. We all know that, right? Every scroll, swipe, every unlock is a battle for their engagement, for their attention. The question isn't actually about how much content we produce. It's actually about how deeply it connects to the audience. It connects before the next distraction arrives. Indonesian population consumes content across multiple screens. Attentions are super fragmented. So at glance, we've actually seen this firsthand. In the last 14 years of my career, I should say the last 1 year has been the most exciting time for me. The way AI has transformed our lives, just in terms of the way we think of marketing outcomes. Not just that, it's also about the way we think of creativity and the way connection has just been extraordinary. We're witnessing the change, we're actually living it. So to talk about that, right, and how marketeers in Indonesia can inspire attention than interrupt, I'm extremely honored to have two amazing leaders, Anggya Kumala, Marketing Director, Mondelēz, and Intan Ayu Kartika, Marketing Director, Frisian Flag. Thank you for joining.
Sure, happy to be here.
So before we get started into what all of this means in marketing, let me just start with one basic question. Obviously, Gen AI, OpenAI, ChatGPT, Anthropic, a bunch of these tools have come. How has this changed your life personally as a consumer?
Okay, so happy to be here, and maybe my story can be relevant to any of us here. I'm such a big planner, right? And when I say big, not only big but also deep, right? When it comes to family holiday for me, I really plan places, even distance, time from one place to another. Now my life is so much simpler because I actually just give the right prompt. And I have a very strong purpose or is a strong passion point from my kids. Each of them have different passion point. And basically with that right prompt, they can really come up with such a great detail of itinerary that makes everybody happy. And I'm like, wow, this is really making my life so much easier. Yeah.
Lovely. Intan?
Yes, many things, I guess, I think. So, easy example is during shopping, for example, now. We know exactly what to buy, and then we can always try, right? I mean, many brand websites or even the e-commerce platform, they can offer you try on. They can offer you what would be the right sunglasses style or whatever. So at the end, before you go to the offline or before you buy online, you know exactly what you want to have. That's the easy example. And also, again, as Anggya mentioned, actually, I'm also doing this oftenly with the kids. So whenever we have discussion where we want to go, what we want to buy, or where we want to spend our holidays, actually, we use AI a lot.
You spoke about virtual try-on. You should check out Glance AI.
Yeah.
Plug. Anyway, so I mean, it's fascinating, right? How personal and invisible AI has become to all our lives. This brings me to the first marketing challenge, right? Anggya, to you. In terms of when everyone's consuming content across devices and platforms, how do we tell stories that actually stick?
Yeah, that is a very interesting question, right? Because I think multi-platform is something that already happened since few years back, but it's just getting more and more complex, right? So I think number one, as a marketeers, in terms of the storytelling, number one is really how to shorten our story, right? But then this short is not just simply short, but it should be captivating enough, quickly enough, so that the consumer really put focus on your content. So that is one. The second one is really how to think about how can our brand be irreplaceable in that storytelling. Imagine that story, then you exclude your brand, and it should feel less exciting. So that's how we have to try to embrace in terms of the storytelling. Because what consumer want to see right now, not your brand actually, but how the brand role actually helps them, make them happier, make them entertained in a daily basis. And the last one, I think this used to be the belief in the marketing's world. It's about 360, right? But forget about 360. Because we cannot expect that consumer nowadays see all the consumer journey that we want it to be. We need to close the loop. Once you actually grab your audience, close the loop with that call to actions. We cannot lose them now because low attention, obviously, platform, multi-device is actually really a disruptive reality to our audience. So that would be it.
Yeah, truly multiple touch points, multiple screens, low attention. Now this brings me to the big challenge in terms of AI in retail experiences, right? And this is for you, Intan. Consumer goods sector has gone through a broad-based personalization journey, right? In terms of, and AI has actually led the shift. How are you navigating this in your industry, especially in the child nutrition segment that you operate in?
Sure, when we talk about child nutrition, um, the shift towards personalization is actually very relevant. Why? Because child life stage is unique. I mean, we know how a baby grows into toddlers, young kids, and then older kids, young adults, and continue their journey in life. And it's very relevant. Why? Because traditionally, we communicate the message, if I may say, very broadly. So for example, talking about nutrition in general. But nowadays, AI allows us to tailor a specific engagement and also message based on parents' tension, based on where their child life stage is, and also what kind of needs they actually, or information they need. So in Frisian Flag Indonesia, within our CRM ecosystem, we use AI to really understand the conversation, to really understand how parents interact with the product or within a certain life stage of their kids. And also we can understand what kind of message, what kind of approach or even content and conversation that are more relevant for each parents based on their tension, based on their needs, on what they want to know about child nutrition. So, and then coming from that, we try to personalize the message, be it, for example, the way we say, or what kind of nutrition that we want to show them based on their needs, or even what kind of promo or advice that we can provide to them. So here, AI personalized message is actually help us to make it everything even more efficient and also meaningful. Because then the message they give, they accept, they receive is actually more relevant and also create emotional connection and also more timely based on the right life stage of their kids.
You're talking about messaging. It brings me to my favorite question to Anggya that we've just heard. At Mondelēz, you're first-hand applying this in creative generation, right? You guys have announced a newly in-house tool that you guys are building, spending millions of dollars. What is that? Can you take us through? I'm sure everyone's intrigued to know what's happening there.
Yeah, well, that is an interesting questions, right? Because I think everybody is now very excited about AI and how really AI can drive the business and be really closer to our consumers. I think before coming to that, internally we do have a Gen AI base that helps the employee, especially for the marketing team, to access the public knowledge in a safe way. Meaning that it's simple as just like the public Gen I, but this one is something that is developed specific for the team, so that everything that we do in a daily basis, for example, if you want to create an image that you want to check to your consumer, happens in a safer way. Yeah. The secondly, I think that's the one that you are interested with. It has been announced that globally we are building an in-house tool. Basically, the purpose is actually to be able to collect the information and process so that we are able to create create new content and also contextualize content, right? Not only in a fast way, but also it should be safe and secure. Because I think the last thing that we want to do as a brand is having, our product information is actually spread out without control, right? So I think that's something that we are globally we are building, and right now it's actually already how to say deployed in a limited market. Because again, that we want to ensure that the first step is actually safely and also secured so that we can actually roll out globally. So basically that's the ultimate purpose that we want to really drive the value, and still with the belief from Mondelēz is that we want that our content is really, really, truly personalized. And right now we are actually making sure that it is empathy at scale. So it connects to you, connects to your heart, because every consumer has a different meaning of the brand that we have, different kind of joy, different key occasions of their life. So that's where we want to be. Yeah?
This is a space we are super excited about, and I think this is going to disrupt the way creative generation is going to happen, right? And we're hearing tier 1 creatives, tier 2 creatives, tier 3 creatives, right? And I'm sure this is going to explode certainly, right? So that brings me to the next question for Intan. How do you drive innovation at scale to capture attention and inspire engagement, right? And how does AI fit into all of this approach?
Yeah, of course it plays a role. So at Frisian Flag Indonesia, in driving innovation at scale actually combine data insight for sure, and then also creativity and also technology. We believe that innovation is not only about creating new thing, a new product, but also how it makes the brand or it stays relevant and also create human engagement. So that's why a great example is actually when we had our matcha berries launch, for example. So we use AI to really understand the lifestyle or the digital behavior, the conversation that happens amongst young adult segment, for example. And then coming from there, we develop the creative idea based on this insight for sure, and also using the technology. It's not only about creating a virality, but it's about how to connect back between the brand, which we want to inspire a healthy lifestyle, and also what's on trend on what's going on, being the conversation in digital, for example. So in reality, we work with the platform, and then we use technology to it. It's not only about a filter, for example, no, but we also encourage people, I mean the netizen, not only to buy the product, but also to create their own version of it. And it drives engagement very good, very well. We can see that there was a positive engagement coming from the consumers. So it's not only about asking them, I mean, to consider and buying, but also it creates a movement that we are part of their healthy lifestyle. So I think that's why AI fits very well when it comes to driving innovation, because again, it helps us to really understand the real insights and also to create the creativity and execute it, because then we know exactly what insight we want to to address, and then what kind of content that we want to deliver and how, and also at the same time we can see which to optimize and which to bring at larger scale in a very quick time. So that's how it really helped us in driving innovation.
Thank you. So, Anggya, Intan, before I ask my final question, I actually want to share some insights around what we are doing on Glance, right? And want to just share a few Glance trends for this audience. Yeah. So I think we've just, so what we've done, Glance is uniquely placed in the market, right? Considering the kind of screen we are on the lock screen. We're not really an app or a web platform. So Indonesians, we just want to share the appetite Indonesians actually have, right, in terms of Gen AI content. And we're very proud to announce that we've done this in collaboration with WPP for the second year now, right? Thank you to Babido and the entire WPP team for partnering with us on this journey, right? And these are few sharp, interesting insights that we put together. So the first thing is entertainment is retaining, right? If you actually see the screen, there's a ginger cat here. The cat's name is Jahe, right? And there were two content creators in our team who actually conceptualized this story and built out an entire series of cat flicks. We call it the cat flick series. And they built out the entire series. So after the first and second video, we kind of saw engagements going sky roof. We saw millions of viewers coming and watching that particular content, right? Clear takeaway here is elevate your storytelling, right? Keep it character-led, keep it very sharp, right? If you're able to kind of leverage GenAI for this, right, that would be a great next step. All in for AI. Indonesians are all in for AI, and I think this is something we saw clearly on Glance. In fact, Glance is a global platform. If I actually compare the US markets, Indonesia is 3 times more open to GenAI content, right? And again, right, going back to the visual that I'm showing here, users are not just accepting GenAI content, they're actually wanting to engage with the next idea of your content. So when we put out the first 2-3 videos of Jahe, we saw a lot of virality there, and in fact, users came back and said, look, this is what I want Jahe to do next. I want Jahe to maybe go to Japan and try this new food, right? So that's the kind of excitement we saw. So Indonesia is all in for AI. There's no doubt in that, right? Fairly straightforward, shorter is better. Keep it short, keep it sharp, under 15 seconds with the first 3 minutes that needs to have a hook. Anything above 20 odd seconds, keep it for your retargeting purposes, keep it for sequential storytelling. Now, obviously, what does all this mean for Ramadan, right? Because it's coming down the road in the next 2-3 months. A very interesting insight that we saw is premiumization and price consciousness, right? It kind of goes hand in hand. Financial content was a big play on our platform. That's something we quickly again saw. It's not anymore about fitness or food. It's fitness and food. And if you're able to weave in your campaign, if you're able to weave in your communication around both of these, you will certainly see more resonance from the users. Again, right, we spoke about this. I really would recommend creating character-led content, right, around Ramadan with consumers, because consumers find it extremely relatable, right? And today, as we speak, so a year ago, Glance was largely flooded with publisher-led content. Today, we are 90% GenAI feed. And that's because of the 80+ characters that are really doing well. And we are seeing extremely high engagement and swipe-up rates and unlocks happening on our platform. Look at how Jahe is trying Ramadan fasting here. And ending with this, right, and we've recently partnered with Pepsodent, and we partnered also with Nielsen to come up with this report, which clearly talks about a video-first strategy, a video-first impact strategy. We're talking about AI optimization and testing. Leveraging all of that, it clearly shows, right? Look at one of the 3 videos actually saw a 96% brand recall, right, as per the Nielsen study, right? And coming to the final segment of unveiling this report, I want to call on stage a very special guest from Unilever. Unilever, as a brand, touches 80% of all of our lives, right, on a daily basis. Now, we couldn't have unveiled this report because Glance, from the time we've started, we've launched in Indonesia 6 years ago. We've been partnered with Unilever. We couldn't launch this report without them. So I'd like to invite Berto Kotze on stage to say a few words. So Berto, I actually have one question for you before you can actually
I don't need
seated
to
here,
sit, I
right?
can stand here with you.
So I have one question before we unveil the report. What are some key changes you've observed in how Indonesian consumers seek content and experiences? And what is the one trend you've basically seen exciting in the Glance and WPP report that we've just revealed?
So thanks, Nitin, and thank you for having me here with Glance. As you mentioned, we've been working together for many years now, and I'm very happy to be here with you guys. The report is very exciting. I've seen a quick glimpse and a preview of that. So our brands have been working together for many years, and looking forward to seeing some more of those trends as well. To come back to your question, I think many people have talked about it. I think Anggya also mentioned it, the multi-screen environment and the proliferation of the multi-screen environment. These days, I think the data shows that 80% of consumers are engaging with their smartphone at the same time as consuming other media. So creating attention, grabbing attention, I think Iman from Accenture also talked about it earlier. You've got 400 milliseconds, right? How do you grab attention in 400 milliseconds? It's almost impossible. So from that perspective, I think that's something that we're starting to see more and more. We've seen not only in Indonesia, but globally. And so therefore, how do we use AI? How do we use platforms? How do we use technology to grab attention when people don't have attention, when their attention is elsewhere or it's fragmented? This digitally fragmented journey that all of us go through every day is super difficult for marketeers to address. I was just looking this morning through my iPhone screen time. I average between 150 to 200 pickups of my phone in a day. Go and have a look how many, maybe some of you less, maybe some of you more, but 150 to 200 pickups. That just shows how distracted we can be becoming, because obviously that's happening sometimes maybe during a Teams call, or when you're watching TV, or when you're doing something else, or whenever. But that is the big trend that I think that we're all having to grasp with, and I think a technology like Glance really plays an integral role there with your Gen AI contextually generated content. And contextual advertising as well. So that's definitely something that I think is useful for our brands as well.
Thanks, Berto. Again, one last 30 seconds from Anggya and Intan. Now, every day we are hearing new things around marketing, right? Some new thing is happening in the AI space. What's the next big prediction that could help all marketeers here for Ramadan, right? What could we prepare for Ramadan, right? The last 30 seconds from each.
Yeah. So maybe coming from a biscuit category, right? The biggest thing to happen in Ramadan is actually gifting. And what we have seen and what we believe will happen, the gifting season will continue to be big. But then the thing that we need to remember that gifting is also going to be happening for SESA until D. So how can we make to have the right gifting pack, but also make it very personalized is actually something that is really interesting for next year. And because everybody has a different reason. They have a different purpose as well. Is it your colleagues? Is it your parents? And I think that's going to be exciting next year.
Yeah. Lovely. Intan?
Yeah. We discussed this also internally in the Frisian, like what will be next for next year Ramadan, and we say that maybe the evolvement of AI is AI-powered cultural intelligence, we say. So it's not only about understanding conversation or where to target or what message, but really to understand the values. So for example, Ramadan, what kind of different values for different target market. So for example, what kind of togetherness means for young adult? What does together mean for parents at home during iftar or sahur? So I think it will help us really, again, next year in Ramadan, to really tackle not only about functional messaging, but also how to create even closer emotional engagement with consumers. And we believe that it will happen. So because now we are starting also to see that, how to create a more personalized, that embed the values of Ramadan, but for each different life stage of the people.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Intan. Thank you, Anggya. Thanks a lot, Berto. We couldn't have done this without Unilever. Thank you so much. And we just want to unveil the report together. Here's a teaser of the report for all of you to scan and watch. We'll be unveiling the full version of the report in 3 weeks' time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Can we have another round of applause, panel? We'd like to invite you to take a great picture with us at the center of the stage. Thank you once again. to Mr. Nitin Navaratna, our moderator, Ms. Anggya Kumala, Ms. Intan Ayu Kartika, and Mr. Beto Kotze. Thank you so much for your time in unveiling for us the intersection of content and AI-powered experiences for marketing in 2026 and getting ready for our Ramadan campaign. Let's have another round of applause for our panel, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very, very much once again. Oh, one more photo. Amazing. A lot of paparazzi this afternoon for all of our amazing panelists. Thank you very much. We'd like to remind everyone we also have a photo wall outside where you can take your pictures and get a memento for today.